Hello and welcome to my improvised report on Edouard Manet. I have a translation for it if I got it wrong. He was known as one of the most controversial painters of his time when he was alive, and then he was later recognized as kind of the bridge to the future between realism and impressionism. I will actually make this available in PowerPoint form or format as soon as I figure out how to turn my laptop on. But this first one is by Edouard Manet, and it is the Bar at Follies, and it was done in 1882, and it is an oil on canvas. And I'm going to point out some of the spots that I was really impressed by. If you take the oranges, for instance, they appear to be almost realistic, but then when you zoom into the brush strokes of the chandelier, you can see how he is showing how light hits the crystals. This next piece is called Gypsy with a Cigarette. It is a painting. It is unfortunately undated, and it is an oil on canvas. I believe gypsy is a derogatory term, but that is the title of the piece. If you look at the front of her shirt and her shoulder, you will see how the light is shining from that direction and lighting up certain parts of her shirt. If you take a look at the horse's head, zoomed up, you will see that there is virtually no blending. It is all made up of brush strokes. This is a self-portrait with palette, and it was done in 1879. It is an oil on canvas. And if you take a look here at the zoom in on the side of his face, you can definitely see the light source and how it contrasts with the darker side of the other face that would be in shadow. I think it's worth noting that even as late as last semester, I would not have fully been able to appreciate the details of this impressionist painting because I didn't know enough about light sources and value and how light reacts with objects differently. And here we have Albu, 1870 to 1880, and it is an oil on canvas. And if you look at her jaw, you will see his use of colors to show how the light is reflecting off of it, and I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Now we have the execution of Emperor Maximilian in 1867. It's an oil on canvas, and this one is absolutely awesome. If you take a look at their helmets right here, you will see how the smoke and their helmets are reflecting the same light, and I think it's absolutely amazing how they can pull it off. Also, I'm not sure what these guys are doing or what they're shooting at, but if they're shooting at those people in front of them, they're going to miss, and if those people are out in front of the firing line, I wonder why. Come to the final picture of the presentation, and it by far my favorite. Reading L'Istera, 1879, and it is an oil on canvas. And this is by far, like I said, my favorite one. Not so much for the use of light, but for the use of just kind of throwing things in and it going well together. Take a look at the flowers in the background. When they're zoomed in, it doesn't look like a whole lot of anything. But as seen as it's supposed to be looked at, you can tell like flowers. Now take a look at the black marks on what appears to be the newspaper she's reading. The artist could have went in and used words, but I think it would have detracted from the overall look and feel of the piece. Now take a look at her gloves, what I'm assuming are gloves because they're the wrong color to be hands. But when zoomed in, it doesn't look like a hand. It doesn't even look like the shape of a hand or a glove, but when you zoom out and look at it the way it's supposed to be seen, it appears to be a hand. And I absolutely lied to you. This is the last one that we're going to look at, and it is the Battle of blank versus the Alabama. It was made in 1864, made in France, and it is oil on canvas as well. In my opinion, it is in water that Impressionism really comes alive. Look at these side-by-side pictures, one of a real picture of an ocean and the other of an Impressionist's take on choppy ocean waters. And the likeness is shocking. And these poor, what appear to be people in the ocean. Now this piece is the Mocking of Christ, or actually both of these pieces are. The watercolor is a design for the Mocking of Christ, and neither one of these are in my presentation officially. I just wanted to show how that even though it is 5 years before the kickoff of Impressionism, you can see how he is going to transition to Impressionism by comparing the two different photos.